Deep inside a primitive village, a supervillain is being lowered face first into a vat of boiling holy oil. A group of human teenagers in Bermuda shorts and a talking bionic cat cheer from the sidelines, an unlikely audience for such a brutal display. The one in charge of this group is Eddie. He possesses sci-fi superpowers that essentially make him a god, but he insists on living his life according to a strict, rigid diplomatic code. Eddie wants nothing more than to be a regular high schooler. He pursues that goal by acting like a starship commander, enforcing Prime Directive-style rules on his friends to engineer a version of normal that is entirely detached from the messy reality of being a teenager. The path to that boiling vat started when Eddie and his friends landed on the planet Otra to hide out. They accidentally parked their spaceship in an ancient temple, drawing the attention of spear-wielding locals who captured them as sky demons. His friends, Bobby and Joey, immediately try to use their powers to blast their way to freedom. Eddie shuts them down, insisting on a peaceful surrender to avoid contaminating the native culture. This flowchart maps the theological crisis the boys triggered. When a primitive culture encounters advanced technology, their leadership is forced to classify the strangers as a dangerous heresy or experience a revelation and worship them as gods. The Otrans choose heresy. Their high priest orders the boys thrown into a massive subterranean pit to be eaten by a multi-headed beast known as the Garar. This hostage situation puts Eddie in a corner. He has to decide if his commitment to non-interference is worth letting his friends be torn apart by an alien predator. Survival wins out. Joey secretly uses his powers to knock the Garar unconscious and fly the group out of the pit. Meanwhile, their bionic cat, Eyesore, uses a voice modulator to command thunder, freezing the executioners in their tracks. The Otrans witness this impossible escape and instantly pivot. Since the monster couldn't kill them, the locals assume the teenagers and their talking cat are the physical reincarnation of Kedra, a legendary feline god. Eddie recognizes the danger of this misunderstanding. He tries to march his friends back to the ship, desperate to leave before they cause any more damage to the Otrans' religious development. Bobby stops him with a heavy dose of teenage peer pressure. He argues that normal kids don't run away from a good time. They make messes, and if an entire civilization is throwing a festival in their honor, they stay and party. Eddie finally breaks. He craves the normal human connection Bobby is offering so much that he abandons his protocols and agrees to stay for the festival. Choosing to attend the party is where Eddie's control unravels. By trying to act like a normal kid on an alien world, he invites a level of disaster that his rules were designed to prevent. The disaster arrives in the form of Harold Baxter. He crashes the festival with a robotic jackal, presenting the machine to the terrified crowd as the true god Kedra. Baxter weaponizes the villagers' confusion, turning the natives against Eddie before unleashing his private army of robots, the Baxteroids, on the village. Eddie realizes high-minded diplomacy is useless. To save the Otrans from a massacre he inadvertently caused, the boys have to abandon the rules and engage in a full-scale proxy war. Joey and the native warriors lead a brute force counterattack, swarming the robots and physically ripping the protective metal faceplates off the machines. Bobby's strategy proves effective. Blue icons show water maidens flanking exposed robots, hurling water directly into their circuitry. Simultaneously, Eyesore taunts the robotic jackal into a high-speed chase across the village and over the edge of the Garar's pit. The alien beast finishes the job, devouring the robotic jackal whole. With his army short-circuited and his fake god digested, Baxter is swiftly captured. The boys win not through godlike perfection, but through the messy, unrefined improvisation of youth, using water jugs, bait-and-switch tactics, and brute force. The victory ends at the vat of boiling holy oil. The vengeful natives string Baxter up and lower him in while the crowd erupts into cheers. Eddie watches Baxter sink below the surface, but he feels no relief. Baxter's serene calmness in the face of death suggests this rivalry is far from over. The Otrans watch the boys depart, left to sort through the robot husks and scorched stone remains of their village. Eddie is hit with a moral hangover. His attempt to party left the planet's religious identity in pieces. Their god turned out to be a pet, and their temple became the site of a technological siege. Safely inside the ship, Eddie's frustration boils over. He tries to restore order by neatly folding the ceremonial robes they wore, furious at the mess they left on the planet below. Bobby points out that making a mess is the defining trait of a teenager. They break rules and they piss people off, and sometimes that's the only way to actually get things done. Eddie stares at the folded robes and realizes that his obsession with order nearly got everyone killed. He spent the whole trip trying to act like a commander, only for a cat and some water jugs to solve the problem. He drops the diplomat act entirely. Eddie tosses his robe onto the floor, sets a new course, and finally decides to experience the galaxy on his own terms. Messy, unpredictable, and finally human.